welcome to our special show, Agenda 2024 Vision, Action, Impact. The elections have concluded and the new government, a coalition government this time around, has been sworn in. It is once again time for the government to work on, leverage its strengths as well as reflect on the weaknesses. As India heads towards becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047, we need to reflect on the development narrative and focus attention on issues that will take us towards being a more just and equal society. I'm Gargi Rawat, and joining me today in studio is Padma Shri Dr. Vikram Sahney, who's Member of Parliament. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us today. Now, he's represented India at various multilateral organizations. He has an understanding on issues of public policy and governance at large. So, Dr. Sahney, we've just completed the elections. The new government has been sworn in. How do you view these election results, and what do these election results really indicate to you about the, on one hand, political landscape as well as the sentiments of the people?
Thanks, Gargiji. The recent elections, I think, reaffirms that India is a very vibrant and strong democracy, where we have seen that electorate is becoming more and more enlightened and becoming more aware of the key burning issues, which is a very healthy sign. If we analyze the results of recent general elections, we see a blend of, national macro level issues and, of course, the local issues influencing the way people think, the way our youth thinks. It indicated the sign of very mature democracy, and the issues which impact the daily lives of the people were in the forefront, thus making our democracy more robust and very responsive.
Well, it also shows you can't take electorate for granted either. So, Dr. Sahney, the government has taken oath. It's a coalition government this time around. Regional parties are there also at the center this time around. So, what is your view on that? What will you be interested to see going forward?
I think we are witnessing, after almost a decade, the coalition government. So, I feel collaborative working among the various national and regional parties is inevitable. I think the current scenario strongly emphasizes the concept of what we call as cooperative federalism.
Yes.
That is very crucial to a democracy, a healthy central and state relation, a win-win kind of situation where center and states work together for an inclusive approach to address the needs of people. And I think now, since elections are over, and I feel in the context of cooperative federalism, barring Northeast, which requires a special support, otherwise center should treat all the states on equal footing, and all the states should get public spending, infrastructure, investments, and other education, health, without any discrimination. And you will see that we have been reading, and that as far as the special status to some states are concerned, there has been like a voice have been echoed that Bihar and Andhra Pradesh may ask for special status. I feel they have democratic right to ask, but I think the Parliament in the monsoon session will debate and will deliberate to give special status to other states also on merit, and see like Punjab, where I come from. The situation of Punjab, the debt to GSDP ratio is very alarming and worrisome at 46%, Punjab being the border state and gone through the turbulence and militancy and this debt crisis of the state. I think that should also be considered on broad-based. But answering your question, coalition refers to a healthy center-state win-win relationship, and we hope so.
Now with this new government in place, what are your thoughts on the direction that the government should be taking? What are your thoughts on, the primary aspirations, also expectations from this new coalition government?
I think, Gargiji, we face numerous micro and macro challenges that will need urgent attention. I think the foremost is jobs, unemployment we have seen. Of course, inflation, महंगाई, agrarian crisis or issues, I will say, because India is an agrarian country, we have to satisfy somewhere, take our farming community into confidence, climate change, environment, global warming, and somewhere this social inequality, where the gap is increasing and it's becoming more and more tough for the middle class to make their both ends meet. Affordability of quality health and education, you know. So I think these are the few very big challenges which the new government and the parliament will have to address on a war footing.
So you've already said that you feel that unemployment is one of the big areas that the government needs to be focusing on. So tell us more about your thoughts on the current unemployment situation and also what steps the government needs to do to address this issue.
I think unemployment issue is indeed, you know, a very paradoxical issue. कि एक तरफ तो रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं कि सरकार में 30 लाख के करीब वैकेंसीज हैं और दूसरी तरफ डिस्पाइट ऑल we appreciate the government had initiated, I was also on the board of NSDC for several, all the stakeholders. The education has to be made more focused. We have to give emphasis on vocational education and rather than the academics, the skilling with the linked with the industry, new jobs creation, because we should not forget government have to promote labor intensive also jobs, because we are already facing the challenges of AI, which will further change the scenario. And then coming as to that, I think one offshoot of this unemployment is, for example, this Agniveer scheme, which is a burning issue now. I'm happy it is being debated now. And I think government or parliament should debate that kahin na kahin this only 4-year thing and this 25% absorption, this is giving a sense of, you know, fear and psychosis in the youth. Ki they were getting permanent jobs. So maybe they have to debate and deliberate. See, I personally feel that maybe 50% of the recruits under Agniveer should be absorbed, and maybe for at least 12 years. 4 years is very less. And then jo baki hain, at least there should be some via media to absorb them in paramilitary forces. After all, army mein ye select hue hain bacche. To inko CISF, RAF, CRPF, BSF, ye wahan pe taki inko ek security ho.
You've spoken on the need to address the unemployment problem. That is one of the urgent things the government needs to do. You spoke about महंगाई and how the middle class is being squeezed, how they're finding it difficult to make ends meet. So how can the government alleviate this issue of inflation, the महंगाई that we're seeing? Do you think there are additional aspects that the government needs to focus on, you know, to curb inflation that is a problem, I think, in most households right now?
I think it will be a daunting task for the new government to address the issue of inflation, especially food inflation, because usse middle class, lower middle class की unaffordability हो रहा है. आपने we witnessed the recent spike in petrol, diesel, LPG. Even, you know, I was surprised to see edible oils going up by 15 to 16%. You know, because of variety of reasons, global tensions. So consumer price index is rapidly growing. It's close to 5%, you know, now, which was about 3% pre-COVID. So I think government will have to take strong measures to curb inflation. This all is linked to the supply side management. The supply has to be commensurate with demand. So a multi-pronged strategy is needed. Maybe the crop diversification, the supply chain management, whatever these, we have to consider that जो गरीब और middle class जो परिवार हैं जिनका गुजारा नहीं हो रहा, बच्चों की पढ़ाई और रोज़मर्रा की चीज़ें महंगी होती जा रही हैं, तो और इनकम में उतना इजाफा नहीं हो रहा, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा सोशल इनइक्वालिटी भी बढ़ रही है, द गैप बिटवीन रिच एंड पुअर. आई थिंक आवर preamble of constitution states that India is a sovereign and socialist republic. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें it is the foremost duty of the government to ensure कि ये जो हमारा बहुत साल से बहुत अच्छी बात है कि इंडिया इज ए वी आर बिकमिंग 5 ट्रिलियन इकॉनमी, हमारा 6-7% जीडीपी भी बढ़ रहा है, पर जॉब्स नहीं आ रही, तो वी कांट हैव जॉबलेस ग्रोथ. और इस बेनिफिट के, इस हायर जीडीपी, if the benefits of this higher GDP will not percolate down to the lowest man in the society, in the strata of society, तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारी फिर वो all round development नहीं होगी. तो I think government will have to address these issues on priority.
There's a lot more for us to discuss. You spoke about, about farmers and the agrarian issue. So we're going to talk more about that. There's lots more to discuss on the other side of this break with Dr. Vikram Sahney. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Agenda 2024, Vision, Action, Impact, a new coalition government in place. And we're talking to Padma Shri Dr. Vikram Sahney about what the priorities of the new government should be, what are the urgent issues that need to be addressed. And Dr. Sahney, you spoke about, agrarian crisis. You said, you spoke about the way forward. So tell us more about what you think needs to be done. How should the government go about resolving this critical issue without alienating farmers? Because,
Yes.
change is always difficult, but we need to take everyone along.
I think the new government have to take a fresh look. India, as I've said, is an agrarian economy. And the dialogue is the only way forward.
Yes.
We have to address the concerns of the marginalized farmers. As all of us know that maybe 86-87% of the farmers here are very marginal, who own a very small piece, less than 5 acres of land. For example, this MSP issue has been in the forefront. I personally have studied it, that paper pe there is MSP for 22 crops. But actually this is confined to mostly rice and wheat. I'm not saying that government should procure everything, but if we really want to diversify, control inflation, we want farmers to grow millets, we want farmers to grow pulses,
yes.
to grow edible seeds जो बहुत महंगे हो रहे हैं. We want farmers to grow fruits and vegetables, the move away from this. So at least for addressing the ecological challenges and inflation, these are very important. But then we need a robust agriculture policy to support this to farmers, because otherwise farmers will not get out of this paddy and wheat, because then everybody's subsistence. And even there, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan has prescribed a formula. I'm not saying we should, after all, he was father of Green Revolution.
Yes.
But dialogue, we have, because I've studied M.S. Swaminathan have suggested how a MSP should be calculated, how the cost of production should be calculated. We can make some changes, but government can't have controlled mind. बात करने से ही उसका समाधान होगा. उसमें कई फैक्टर्स हैं, तो उसमें एक एक्सेप्टेबल विन-विन, कोई मिडल पाथ वी विल हैव टू टेक ऑन एमएसपी, क्योंकि यही एक किसानों का बार-बार
stuck on one, it has to come together.
बार-बार वो ये एक इशू आता है, तो हम उनको भी, I will request, I hope the good sense will prevail on farmers and they will not be like adamant. Both sides have to show some flexibility. दूसरा है कि गवर्नमेंट विल हैव टू प्रायोरिटाइज दिस फार्म गेट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. हमारे इंडिया में 60-65% आई एम टोल्ड इज वेस्टेड, कि हम पेपर पे है फार्म टू फोक, पर चाहे हिमाचल का एप्पल है, चाहे लीची है, चाहे फ्रूट है, चाहे वेजिटेबल है, और भी जो भी क्रॉप्स हैं, वो मार्केट तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाती, बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव सफिशिएंट एग्री प्रिजर्वेशन, एग्री प्रोसेसिंग नहीं है. And farmers also lose their crops. अभी पंजाब में हमने देखा कीनूज दिस which are very sweet, वो crop preserve नहीं कर पाए. So many things are there. So we have to, government have to concentrate on strengthening the farm gate infrastructure at the tertiary level. So we have to make FPOs, like farmer producer organization. Everything is there on paper, but ultimately इसको translate करना पड़ेगा, actual करना पड़ेगा. Center और states दोनों की cooperation चाहिए.
Now you spoke about, certain issues, unemployment, agriculture. So what are the other priority issues that you think this government needs to focus on?
I think environment, as I said in the beginning, environment, the global warming, should be the key issue. Niti Aayog's one report which I had read, it said 21 of the major cities of India, will soon have zero underground water. So in tier 1 and tier, it's all worrisome. Water level is depleting even in states like Punjab, which brought green revolution. They had to pay the price for that. अभी दिल्ली में आपने देखा 52.3 degrees. We used to see in the Middle East. But so this global warming, this change, climate change, I think that has to be addressed. And you will see come winter, there will be Delhi, the blanket of smoke. Delhi will be covered by a blanket of smoke. We can't have all the time blame games. ये smoke उधर से आ रहा है, इधर से आ रहा है. वो poor farmers हैं. Government is doing, state government is doing, farmers को awareness हो रहा है. But until center and all the states involved in this provide subsidized, for example, machinery to address this issue of crop residual machinery, ताकि वो उसको जलाए नहीं. All these things have to be tackled, well planned, not that now come October, November and plus festive season and then Delhi is polluted. I'm just giving one example.
No, absolutely.
Of
and
the
Delhi gets a lot of attention, but all the cities, a lot of the cities in the north have a very high levels of air pollution. So we need to have an
advanced plan, a 5-year plan to diminish this thing, this practice.
Now, Dr. Sahney, you've represented India at various international forums like BRICS, World Economic Forum, B20. So what is your take on what the new government can do for trade and industry?
I think the foremost, we must appreciate the PLI scheme has been a very innovative scheme. But I feel it has to be enlarged. The scope of PLI should be enlarged to bring in more industry for promoting and strengthening Make in India. But one thing you will agree that the contribution of manufacturing sector to GDP still is about 15.8%, which I feel is lower. We have to have, government have to consider industry as a growth engine of the countries, and entrepreneurs and everybody has to be confidence, it has to be confided in them. And especially when we are now on the verge of signing FTAs, free trade agreements with many countries, our manufacturing have to become more competitive, have to become global standards. And one thing I have seen, especially in landlocked states and other states, the logistics support is very necessary. If the country has to become an export hub, states in Punjab and Haryana and far-flung states, until government will have a cross subsidy for logistics, how will they export? Through the ports. So we have to have a cross subsidy or bring down the logistic costs for our imports and exports to become more competitive.
All right, so we've touched upon various issues, inflation, unemployment, agrarian crisis, manufacturing as well. You've spoken about education, social inequality that needs to be
Education, I want to add, Gagi ji, that it's becoming unaffordable. KG se leke PG tak. KG se leke PG tak. आप पहले बताइए, प्री नर्सरी में लाखों रुपया प्री नर्सरी में बच्चे को देना पड़ता है, फिर नर्सरी, फिर केजी, पीजी तक लाखों रुपया एक बच्चे की एजुकेशन पे खर्च होता है, फिर पता नहीं उसको नौकरी मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी. प्लस सो अफोर्डेबिलिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन, कोई एथिक्स, कोई नॉर्म होना चाहिए. हेल्थ का भी ये है, गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स ठीक है, बट जो कोई नॉर्म एथिक्स, देयर शुड बी सम SOP. I'm not saying कि they should make losses, but there should be some SOP, and education should be more, and health should be more affordable for that purpose. And then plus this recent phenomena what we saw a few days back, NEET exam and this and that, this has to be all plugged in. We can't have thousands and thousands of students demoralized.
Absolutely.
And facing and losing their confidence in these entrance examination. ये नहीं हो सकता, इसको एड्रेस करना पड़ेगा. गलती थी, हुआ नहीं हुआ, मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा, बट confidence have been shaken across the board.
Absolutely.
उनको engage करना पड़ेगा.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sahney. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and and it's wonderful to hear all these issues that are concerning you right now, and so many issues, as you can see, for the government to deal with. It requires the government's urgent attention, and will continue to focus on the issues that matter right here on NDTV. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.